Hello everybody, it's Wendy, and today we are going to be making a multi-strand necklace with a little bit of wire wrap detail using the Holiday 2021 Mountain Mistletoe Mini Mix from Jesse James Beads. But first, our encouraging word for today is a little spark of kindness can put a colossal burst of sunshine into someone's day. So true, so true. So, all right, I spent 20 minutes just now looking for this mini mix. I just did the unboxing, okay, so I knew it had to be here. I've not been out of this room. I could not find it. I looked everywhere. And finally, I found it in the chain container where I had just pulled chain out of for this tutorial. So for all of you that think I'm so organized, yeah, it's not that way. This is my life in a little box, looking for something for 20 minutes that should still be right in front of me. Okay, anyway, what you're going to need if you want to make this little necklace is this earring piece. This is the faux leather piece out of the Mountain Mistletoe collection, and I want to use this for a pendant because I know that when you look at this you automatically see earring because there were two of them. So you know, not if there was just one you wouldn't automatically see earring, but there are two of them, so I know people are going to look at this and say, oh, earring findings, and I don't want to do the norm. I want to do different than the norm, so we're going to make a pendant out of it. I think they're super cute for earrings too, but yeah, we're going to make a pendant. Okay, so you're going to need this. You're going to need both of the little bow connectors or charms that were in the bead mix. You're going to need one of the big black and white checked, buffalo checked wooden beads. You're going to need all four of the red and black buffalo checked wooden beads. You're going to need these two really pretty matte kind of red, metallic almost looking beads. You're going to need the two little rhinestone spacer beads. You're going to need these two rhinestone rondelles, and you're going to need all of the tiny little green rondelles that were in there. Okay, so that's the beads that you're going to need out of the mix. And then I've got some Figaro chain here, a really small link chain. Now, Jesse James Beads has all different kinds of chains on there. I will link a couple of them that would work just like these do in the description box below this video. Let me get them apart so I don't tangle them up. You're going to need a couple of jump rings. I've got a bigger one for my lobster clasp onto, and then a little one for to hook the lobster on, and you're going to need a lobster claw clasp. You're going to need two clamshell connectors and two crimp beads and two what are these? Ball headpins. Goodness, it's been a day. You're going to need some bead stringing wire, and this is 7 strand, I believe. And you're going to need a length of regular wire, and this is 22 gauge, just regular artistic wire. Okay, and that is everything except for your normal jewelry tools. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to make our little pendant piece or focal piece. Okay, so you're going to need for this the bow connector, this little bead, one ball head pin, this piece, your buffalo check bead, and your wire. Okay, so let me scoot this over so I'm in frame. I'm really bad about not being in frame. All right, and grab my tools. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to make a little wrapped loop dangle out of this bead. Okay, so the way I do this, it's super simple. You just bend this ball head pin at a 90-degree angle, just like that. Okay, let me move that out of the way just so it's not trying to focus on it. You grab your round nose pliers and you grab this down at the very point of your bend. Okay, just like that. You're going to wrap up and over and around, just like that. Then you rotate your plier up. Then you're going to go underneath. And when you do that, see, it's going to make your little loop. Then I'm going to grab my loop with my pliers, and you can use chain nose pliers if you'd rather. And actually, before I wrap, I'm going to go ahead and insert this on. You don't have to do this. You could hook it on with a jump ring. Goodness, but I don't want to do that. I just want it to be wrapped directly on there, okay? So then I'm going to grab my loop again, and I'm just going to wrap. And I'm just going to go around several times, making a cute little, I'm kind of doing a little spiral over the bead. So I just am wrapping. I know you can't see what I'm doing because that's in the way, but I'm just wrapping in a little spiral here, and it almost makes a little bead cap on your bead. It's just pretty. And with this being Christmassy, I want to make it pretty, not necessarily boho. I do a lot of boho style stuff, so you can just use your little messy wrap, but this one I kind of want to be a little more refined because it's Christmas, okay? So then I'm just going to take my plier, and because I have a little bit that doesn't want to lay down right there, I'm just going to trim it. My cutter, I mean, not my plier. And I'm just going to trim that little bit off that wants to poke out and not lay down, okay? So there we have it. It's a little wire wrapped dangle. See that? Okay. Now I'm going to take this and I'm going to open this jump ring. And if you'll notice that we're using a lot of golds and silvers in this pendant, and I like to mix metals, especially lately. I've really been into the whole mixing metal kind of thing. All right. So there is what we made for a little piece. Now we're going to use this bead and our wire. And we're going to make a connection between this and the tiger tail that we're going to hang this on, okay? So again, I'm going to make a wrapped loop. I'm going to take this wooden bead, and I'm just going to put my wire through it. I'm going to pull it down here quite a ways though. You don't even have to put your bead on yet if you don't want to, but I'm going to do the 90-degree angle. I like to go ahead and put my bead on there. It just makes me feel better. I don't know why. And it's going to fall off here in a second. Now you can bend this if you want to just hold it on there like that. I'm going to take my plier and put it in here. I don't want to make too big of a loop. Just big enough to go on the tiger tail. I'm going to go up and over, rotate up, come around like this. See, there's my loop. And then I'm going to take this and I'm going to do a wrap. This one I'm not doing the whole bead cap thing. I'm just kind of going around. And then I want to take this wire and I want to go down my bead like this. I want to make a little swirl on, or just, you know, a little run down the front of the bead. And then I'm going to take it and I'm just going to wrap it around this wire here. Just a couple of times to where it's secure. Okay, just like that. And I've just made a cute little wrap down my bead. Now I'm going to go back up the other side, same thing, and I'm going to wrap around a couple of times. Okay, and then you want to spread these out. I don't want them to be, I want one to be on one side and one to be on the other. Okay, and then I'm going to take my plier and I'm just going to kind of give it a little swirl right there, and maybe give it a little swirl right here, just to give it a little bit of interest. Okay, and then I'm going to bring this around and just tuck it in, this wire. You can cut it off if you want to, but I'm just going to tuck it. Okay, so just like that. Now I've got my little piece on the bottom here, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to make a little wrapped loop. Or I could throw it at myself. All right, here we go. So I'm going to bend this at 90 degrees, take my round nose pliers, up and over, rotate up, make my loop, and then just create a little wrapped element here. Okay, now if I wanted to put another one of these in, I could go ahead and come back on up like this and go around. I have enough wire left to do that, so maybe I will do that. And then I'm just going to wrap it around, and I've made a little spiral there. Just kind of wrap and tuck. Okay, so I've got some little elements here on my bead that makes it look kind of just a little more decorative. Now I'm going to take my pliers, and I actually need these to be, let's see, if I put my tiger tail through, yeah, I need it to hang this way. So I want to make sure that my two pieces here, my two loops, are hanging or are the same direction. So I'm just going to take my pliers. You can just take your two pairs of pliers and just kind of line them up like that. That's all you need to do. And I'm just going to make sure that these are around here and that everything's tucked and neat like I want it to be. Okay. All right. So here is our little beaded piece. And what we're going to do is we're going to hook this right onto this. Now I do have this one oriented wrong, so I need this one to stay this way for my tiger tail to go through. This one I do need to go the other way, so I'm just going to take it and I'm just going to turn them. You can do that, just turn it to where it's oriented the correct way. Okay, I'm going to open this jump ring back up and just insert this guy right on and close it. And there we have our little buffalo check bead, and it's just got kind of a little wire wrap element to it. Nothing major, but just to, I don't know, give it a little bit of a fancy look or a little bit more interest. Okay, turn that around. There we go. Now, we're going to take our tiger tail. Let me get the tape off of this. I cut the one piece of tape off, and then I think I started looking for my bead collection, so I never got to this other side. So there we go. Let me grab that real quick. Okay, so we've got our piece of tiger tail. Now, I'm not going to do a whole big bunch of beads here, just a small little bit, so I'm probably just going to cut this maybe 10 inches, 10 to 12 inches, just to give myself enough room to make sure that, you know, everything will fit on okay. I'm going to insert the tiger tail right through my bead right there, and then I'm going to take one little green bead and put on each side of my focal piece, my focal bead. Okay, so just like this. All right. And then I'm going to take one of my buffalo check beads. Do I want to do that? No, I don't want to do that. I want to do the gold beads next. So I'm going to do one gold bead on this side and one gold bead on this side. Now I'm going to do my buffalo check. Yeah, that's good. All right. Then I'm going to do another little green bead. One on each side. I'm going to do a buffalo check bead. Okay, I'm going to do this Rondelle spacer. It's really sparkly. It looks black, but it's actually really deep green. It's beautiful. This matte bead and my little green bead. Okay, same thing on this side. Got my buffalo check. I'm going to do my Rondelle spacer, matte bead, and my little green bead. That should leave you one green bead left over. Okay, and I'm going to take a bead bug. If you don't have bead bugs, let me just say, these are lifesavers. I'm going to put it on this side, so while I'm finishing my other side, all my beads don't fall off this side, because I have that happen like a lot, and it's just not worth it. So I'm going to go ahead and finish this side. I'm going to take my crimp bead right here. I am going to just string it right onto my my chain and my stringing wire. And with this being a clamshell connector, I don't need to do the whole wire guardian and all that. So I'm just going to take this guy and just crimp him down. And all he does, he's just a stopper to keep my connector on here. So that's all he's for. And then I'm just going to put my connector on here. I like to try to hold the tip of it, the wire, with my fingernail if I can, just to keep it in there while I'm trying to close it, because it can be a little fiddly. And then I'm just going to close it right up. Okay, so there's my little ending to this part of my bead stringing wire. Now, if you don't feel secure with that like that, you can add a little E6000 glue or something in there, jewelry glue, whatever you want to use. But I'm good with it. I think it's just fine. Just going to make sure it's closed up and even. And then we're going to do our other side. So now I can take this off with no fear of everything falling apart. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to put my little crimp bead on. Let it fall all the way down. And the way I do this, because I like this to have a little movement. I don't want it to be poker straight, but I also don't want it to have a lot of, you know, the wire showing or anything. So I just kind of hold it up and let gravity do its thing, and then just gently crimp that one closed right there on that end. That way everything's laying like it should, but it's not sticking out poker straight. Crazy looking. Okay, I'm going to cut this wire right here. I really need to sharpen my cutters. Somebody told me that you can take aluminum foil and use that, but these are terrible. I can't find my Xeron cutters. They're somewhere in this room. Who knows where? But anyway, that's a whole nother issue. All right, then I'm going to put this little clamshell on. Hold my little crimp bead in there and close it up. Okay, and there I have two finished little ends on my tiger tail. So it's just a little bit here, just a little amount of tiger tail, not very much. Now I'm going to take my Figaro chain and I'm going to use a jump ring, a small jump ring. Grab one. Where are my tinies? I have little tinies. These are my tinies, little 4mm ones. They may even be 3mm. They're teeny tiny. And I'm going to go ahead here and open him up and just hook this Figaro chain right on here. So get it right through there. I love the look of Figaro chain. I just think it's classy. Jesse James has all kinds of really beautiful chains, like enameled chains and just really pretty stuff. So take a look on their website. Okay, so now I've got my Figaro chain hooked on this side, and I need to decide how long I want this to be. So normally with my multi-strand necklaces, I like to have about 12-13 inches per side. So I'm going to take my ruler and I'm just going to measure from here. So 12 inches is right about here, and I think that will be good for where I like them to hang. So you have to do this your own personal preference, obviously, but I'm gonna cut it off at 12 inches. Now that's not 12 inches from the focal piece, that's 12 inches of chain length, okay? So not just chain length, but to the focal, to the end of the chain is 12 inches. So I'm counting this little bit too. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Just go ahead and hook it on with my itty bitty jump ring. And just like this. Whoop. These jump rings are so tiny, and where that's on tiger tail, it's just kind of like bouncing back. Let me do it this way. Here we go. It's not staying on there. There we go. And close it right up. Okay. And so then I will take this, even it up, and cut it even on the other end, on the other side. These poor cutters, they're so sad. I've got to find my other ones. Look at that. It just doesn't want to cut anything. There we go. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to put in our second layer. Let me get these out of the way. I'll be using them again here in a second probably. So this is a very tiny link chain, teeny tiny link chain. And the way that I like to do this, I know a lot of people use the boards where they lay them out, but for some reason those boards confuse me. I just prefer to lay it right out here on my bead mat and then just attach it kind of where I want it to hang. Okay, I know it's not very scientific, but that's the way I do it. So I make sure that this is lined up, that these are even. And then I just kind of see where I want my chain to hang. And I may want it to go up a little bit because we're going to make another little dangle here, okay? So I'm going to let that rest for a second and let's go ahead and do this. So we're doing the same thing as before. We're just, same thing as this one. It's just going to match it. We're going to take our little rondelle, put it on our head pin, bend this at a 90-degree angle, take the round nose pliers and go up and over and around, rotate up, and I'm going to hook it on right now so it's on my piece and I don't have to worry about using a jump ring, okay? Then I'm going to grab it with my pliers and I'm just going to wrap. And again, I'm going to do the little spiral wrap down the top of the bead so it matches the piece on the bottom. Okay, there it is. Trim this little piece off that doesn't want to lay down very well with my very dull cutters, and then just kind of tuck that one. All right, so here is our second little. Please tell me I did not. I did. I just did that upside down. All right, we're going to cut this off. There is something I will not edit out so y'all can see that we all make mistakes. Yes, we do. We all have our moments. So we're going to have to make another one. I had another head pin laid out here earlier. Not sure what I did with it, so I'll grab another one. Yes, we all make mistakes. And this time, let's hook this onto the correct part of our bow. Oh my. All of you out there that think us YouTubers don't ever edit anything out of our videos. I don't edit them out. I leave them in. But a lot of people do edit them out. But I figure it's good for us to see the mistakes. For everybody to know that we're not all perfect. Alright, let's put this on the right part of our bow. And when you make a wrapped loop, I mean, there's no way to correct that if you put it on the wrong part except to just cut it off and redo it. So that's what I'm doing. All right, and we will make our little beaded cap again on this little guy right here. These ball head pins are awesome too. They're so easy just to take and you can just manipulate them with your fingers. It's really nice. Alright, and my little beaded swirl on this one is a little goofy, so let me just fix him. I overlapped where I shouldn't have overlapped, so he's a little wound up there. Let me undo it. I know, I made the last one look so easy, didn't I? And now this one is like being a heathen. Okay, come on now. There we go. It just has to lay right, that's all. Much better. Come on around, dude. There we go. That's better. Still just a little bit wonky right there. I'm going to just tighten it up, the swirl up. And there we go. Okay. Tuck it around if you can. If it won't tuck, you can trim it. For some reason, mine never want to tuck. They always want to have that little piece that still pokes out right there, so I have to trim it off, but there we go. All right, that worked out better. Now I'm just going to take my little jump ring, and I'm going to hang this right on this little tiny wire, or little tiny chain. I may use a little bit bigger jump ring. Well, no, I think I am going to do this. I think this one will work. I was going to say I may use a bigger one and hook it into the link, but I don't really like to hook it into the link. I like to have it on here so it'll kind of flow on the chain if it, you know, give it a little movement. I don't really like to hook it right into the link. So just these little jump rings are so teeny tiny. And just make sure it's closed up really good because they will fall off if they're not. Apparently my precision pliers aren't precision enough for this little jump ring. All right, I think I got it pretty good there. Okay, so now I'm just going to take this and I'm going to lay it up here on my chain. Again, making sure that my chains are laying even. And I'm just going to put it right where I want it to go. I'm going to slide a few links through there, so I don't want it to hang that long. And right about there, I think is good. Okay. I just eyeball this. Like I said, if you're scientific, you're welcome to measure and do all that kind of stuff, but I don't. I just eyeball it and hook it in, and I've never had a problem. It always works just fine. Okay, so again, I've got my itty bitty little jump rings here, and these will work. They'll go through this link on this chain. And I'm going to take this side. I'm going to find my last little link and hook this right through it. And then I'm going to put it right here. And I'll make sure on the other side that I've got it completely even. I'm just going to hook it right through that link right there. And close it right back up. Okay, just like that. Now on the other side, so I do have to make sure that these are even. So what I'm going to do is just match them up. So I take my bottom, I'm matching it up. I'm going to make sure I get the exact link. So it's this one right here is right where I need to hook that on. And a lot of times what I will do is I will take a head pin or something that I can stick through there to just mark that piece of that link right there. So I know that I'm getting the same link on one side that I am on the other. So I'll just take that piece of wire and do it. And now I want to take my little chain here and just make sure that it's going to hang right. So let me lay this. This little dangle is giving me issues. There we go. Okay. And I just spread it out, you know, on here. Make sure this little guy's down in the middle. And that's going to be pretty good right there. And then I just take my pliers and hook it on with my jump ring again. And I know that, you know, some people want to count links or whatever, measure. And if you do, then by all means, go for it. But I just don't get that scientific with it. I do make sure that my two chains on the side that I'm hooking through the same link. But this middle chain, I just kind of judge where it hangs. I just kind of eyeball where it's hanging. Okay, and then we're just going to close this right up. Okay, just like that. And then I will just take my cutter, my poor pitiful little cutter here, and I'll cut the link right above where I hooked that on. Poor pitiful little cutter. Goodness, it's going to have to be sharpened. I mean, it won't hardly even cut through that teeny weeny little chain. All right, so there is my little middle strand dangle. So let me lay it up here so you can see it. And it's not going to lay right until I put it on a form, but I will do that here in just a second and show you. But here's what we have so far. Okay, and if you wanted it to be down further, you could put it down further. But now we're going to finish our ends. So I'm just going to take my lobster and my rings. Now the bigger ring I'm just going to hook through here. If you wanted to put an extender on this, you could. But again, I kind of know where I like mine to hang. I know if I measure it the right length there that it's going to hang like I want it to. So I'm not really going to fool with an extender on this one. And then the other side, I'm just going to hook my lobster right on. And that is it, guys. That is our completed necklace. So let me put this on a form and I will be right back to show it to you. Alright guys, so here it is, our finished little product. Let me scoop back a little so you can see the whole thing. It's very Christmassy and I kind of like the dainty part of the chain. It's just not real big or bulky. It's just kind of very minimal, so I like that. But I think it turned out really cute. Kind of gets me in the Christmas spirit making these little Christmassy things. But check out these Jesse James mini bead mixes in these holiday themes. They are just absolutely adorable. I love them. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will have all the links to everything in the description box below. And you guys have a great rest of the day. I will see you in the next one. Bye.